Okay. So thanks for joining, everyone. I'm really excited for you to join me and Erin and just sort of talk about how we've been able to grow our businesses. And I guess the topic tonight is mainly around raising our babies or raising our children while building our empires. So it can be a tricky task, and it does take a lot of juggling. And I guess Erin and I are just here to share our stories and how we've been able to build our businesses while having children and families as well. So thank you for joining. We're really excited to tell you a bit more. And please feel free to post some questions. I will be sharing this video in the group at the end of it. So if you need to drop out or if anything happens, feel free to watch it later. And if you have any questions that you want to chat with us at the end of it, feel free to message us at any time. So, Erin.
All right, so I'm Erin Sellars. I am the busy mum of 3 beautiful children, aged 4, 2, and my baby is 5 months. So I'm someone who absolutely loves to travel. I love that adventure and having fun, but one of my biggest passions is health. So to give you a bit of my background, I am a chiropractor. I've worked as a chiropractor for 10 or 11 years now. And being a chiropractor is something that I really love and really enjoy. So before I had children, when I was working as a chiropractor, I would often work 12 or 13-hour days in my job. And that was really great. And I did that up until I had my first child, Harley. But obviously working big days like that isn't really congruent with the life of being a mum. So when I had Harley, I actually had 12 months of work. After he turned 1, I slowly started to pick up some locum shifts and eventually went back to working 1 day a week. I was fortunate enough to be in a situation where my husband could take a day off to allow me to go back into that work. When I was pregnant with my second child, I was actually offered the opportunity to buy into the 3 practices that I'd been working in. So this was really exciting for me. It was something that I'd been working towards for 7 or 8 years. And so it was really wonderful to have the opportunity to be a business owner and to also do that being a mum as well. So when we got into the practice, which was in January 2005, I had 2 young children at home. So as shareholders, we discussed what our roles would be as chiropractors, and we decided that my role would be best suited to staying at home with my children and managing the practices from there. So that was a really wonderful opportunity in theory to have a little bit of a workload, but the ability to stay home with my children. Pretty quickly, the reality set in of that traditional business model. It wasn't quite as simple as doing a few jobs from home. So to give you a bit of an idea, my phone would often start as early as 5:30 and would finish at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. On top of that, I had projects I was trying to manage. I'd have 50 to 100 emails every day that I needed to reply to. I was available to the 30 or so staff members that we had working with us. And so I was constantly trying to juggle work with my children. And so pretty quickly I got quite burnt out. I was spreading myself way too thin. And the time that I was spending with my children in this role was no longer quality time with them. I really felt like I was trying to keep them distracted to race. So when I became pregnant with my 3rd child, I realised that I really needed to make a decision about which way I was heading. And so for me, I really wanted to reprioritise and put my children and my family first. So I made the decision to sell out of that practice with the idea that hopefully I would have the opportunity to go back to being that businesswoman 5 or 10 years down the track. when my children weren't as demanding of my time when they're at school or something like that. So although I sold out of the practice, which happened on the 1st of April this year, I still had this real burning desire within me to be that businesswoman, that I had more to offer, that I had that message to share with the world. So I had my third baby, my little baby girl Millie, in May this year. And then when Millie was 3 weeks old, I was actually presented with the opportunity to become a doTERRA wellness advocate. So for me, I had to obviously assess whether that was going to be the right situation. I'd just left one job, one business. So I needed to make sure that this would be really in line with what I was wanting to do. And it didn't take me very long to make the decision to do it, but I'd have to say that I honestly have never been happier. I love what I do with doTERRA, and it really is a flexible business. So now I have this business that is my own business, but it's truly flexible. I'm really flexible with my time. I'm able to care for my 3 children full time. But I still manage in my business with doTERRA to do, for me personally, I do about 2 workshops each week, scheduled in a time that suits me and my family. So I can do it when my husband is at home to have the children. I still breastfeed, so it's still flexible enough that I can breastfeed around those workshops as well. So that works really well. I absolutely love the products that doTERRA sells, so it is really fitting in with my passion for natural health, and I feel like that's really congruent with that message that I want to basically share with the world. I also really love the connection that I have with people in this business. So being a stay-at-home mum, I think it's really easy to isolate yourself and to just stay in that little bubble that you create for yourself. It's easier than taking your kids out into the outside world sometimes. But the people that I'm now connected with through this business have really become my support. So they're my support for my business world, but they've also become my friends, and they're the support for me in my personal life too. So that's been a really big positive in becoming a part of this doTERRA community. And on top of that, I've now created the financial freedom to do the things that I really always wanted to do. So I'm in an opportunity now where I make quite good money, and that continues to increase every month that I've been with doTERRA, and I can really see the possibility to make some really good money in the near future with that too. But the amazing thing about this business and the financial freedom it gives you costs me and costs someone else next to nothing to set up, which is vastly different from that business model that I went into previously, where I had to take out a loan for a significant amount of money to be able to walk into being a shareholder in a successful practice. So there's so many positives, which Kim and I will obviously delve deeper into tonight. But I just wanted to share, I guess, that it is something that I absolutely love, and it ticks all the boxes for me. A little quote there, and it's, "A goal without a plan is just a wish," and I truly believe that. That foresight to be able to see what we want to create in our lives. And then I think generally when you put something out to the universe, it will provide it for you. You just got to be aware of that and have your plan to make that achievable. So I'll hand you over to Kim to share her story.
Thanks, Erin. Awesome. Okay. So my name's Kim Reid. So I started my doTERRA business in February last year. So at the time before I started, I was working 3 days a week. I was working in an executive position at a local not-for-profit organisation. So I'm a qualified teacher, but I was working in managing early childhood settings. So I do have 3 children. Last year that I had 2 at school and 1 in daycare while I was working. So I sort of thought before my children started school, I thought once they start school, things will get so much easier. I thought I'll be able to, once they're at school, working will just be so much simpler, and they'll go to school and I'll pick them up and things will be a breeze. But it just didn't quite work that way. So obviously before school was crazy, after school was crazy, there was after school activities, and I just felt like I was always rushing. We just seemed rushed all the time. So I was sort of looking at that stage for something else, something that I could work from home and be really flexible around my children. So I, at that stage, had enrolled in a health coaching course. So I was doing my course with the hope to be able to build an online business. And when I started that course, I didn't really have a clear idea where I wanted to go with it, but my goal was to be able to work from home and also eventually to be able to travel with our family in our caravan. So that was one of my big goals to start with. But I was still quite confused and didn't really have any direction where I wanted to go with that health coaching. And then I came across doTERRA. It was popping up on my Facebook feed and just kept getting my attention quite a lot. And when I really looked into it and gave the products a try, I just knew straight away that that was exactly what I was looking for. Just the business model, the products, I really felt great being able to share them with my friends and family, and I could see the potential straight away. So when I first looked at that business, obviously I was already working 3 days a week. I was studying at that stage and was already really, really busy. So when I told my husband that I wanted to start that business as well, he thought I was a bit crazy actually. He didn't really know why I would want to start a business while I was already saying that I was so busy. But I really just saw the vision from the start. So I jumped straight in and he just sort of said, well, whatever, I can't stop you anyway, because basically I knew right from then it was what I wanted to do. So as soon as I jumped straight in, I guess after I'd said yes, that's when all the fears came in, and I sort of, all those fears came flooding in that I felt like, oh, what am I doing? I am too busy. Money fears came in. I sort of was telling myself that I couldn't afford it because I was already paying for this coaching course that I was doing. I started telling myself things like that I couldn't get up and present a workshop, and just all this self-sabotage started happening. So not long after I ordered my kit, I actually quit. I rang the person who enrolled me and said, I don't think this is for me, and told her all my self-sabotage reasons why I couldn't do it anymore. And then after I had done that, I actually felt worse. Then I sort of thought, well, I want this time freedom. I want to be able to travel with my family. What was my plan? What was my backup plan? If I wasn't going to do this business, what was my backup plan going to be? And I had nothing. And just the idea of continuing what I was doing was way scarier than any of those other little fears around not being able to present and not being able to afford it, being too busy and things like that. So obviously I dived straight back into it and rang up my enroller and said, sorry, I've changed my mind. I'm back in again actually. And she said, that's okay. You just take your time, take it at your own pace. And for me, my pace is either I'm doing it and I'm going for it, or I'm not doing it. So when I said, yep, I'm back in, I really went for it, and I just started sharing it with everybody. So just telling all my friends about it. And I really did from the start, really was very passionate about the products and really wanted people to know about them. So I started doing around 1 or 2 classes a week. So I'd usually make them on a Sunday afternoon or a Thursday night. That's the time that suited us the best, and it's what fitted in with my family. and any other work that I did for the business, so my learning, training, reaching out to people and things like that, I did that at night when the kids were in bed. So most nights from sort of 9 p.m. till midnight, I was doing my health coaching course and also doing my doTERRA business. So I was working really, really hard. There's a lot of people in my team at the moment that probably don't put in those amount of hours, but for me, I was so clear on my goal and I wanted to be able to resign from my job as quick as possible. So I was putting in the hard yards, so then I was able to quit my job. So after 5 months of doing doTERRA, I hit the first leadership rank, which is silver, and I was able to look at resigning. My goal was to hit gold, so I'll go through the ranks a little bit later, but my goal was gold, and that was when I was able to quit my job. So I think it was around 7 months after I'd been doing my business that I was able to resign from my job. In that time, I qualified for a trip to the US, which I was so excited about, but it ended up being right when I was finishing work, so I wasn't able to go. But not long after that, I also qualified for a trip to New Zealand, which I went to at the start of this year. And I was just really loving the business. It was busy with my family and my work and things like that, but I just loved it so much that I was going to find the time and make it work no matter what. So once I was able to resign from my job, not long after that, I reached the next rank, which is platinum, and that was our goal for my husband to be able to resign so then we could head off on our trip. Well, we were going to head around the whole of Australia, but we loved the East Coast so much that we took our time going up the East Coast. So we spent 5 months up the East Coast in our caravan this year, and we were able to make that dream come true as well. So now that we're back home, we've recently returned back home, our lifestyle has really changed from what it was last year when I was working really, really hard. I still do work obviously with my business, but it looks completely different. Whereas now it's during when the kids are at school, it's within my own hours. I can be flexible. If there's something on with the kids at school, I can just go and be there for them. I'm there for them before school. I'm there for them after school. My husband, before we left last year, was working out at the gas plant, and he was working 12-hour days, 6 days a week. He's now just working part-time in a 9-to-5 job. So we've got him around a lot more, and our lifestyle is just a lot more flexible and not rushed anymore. We don't feel rushed anymore. We can just sort of take each day as it comes and work around our family and I guess have that flexibility. We've got big goals now for our family to do further travel next year, but we're looking at more international travel. So we're looking at a Fiji trip. We're looking at the US convention next year, and we've got a lot of really exciting plans for our family. So I guess that's my story, and this quote is definitely my favourite quote. It's one that I've had on my vision board from before I even started doTERRA, and it's, one day your life will flash before your eyes, make sure it's worth watching. So that's just about living in the moment and making the most of these precious times, especially when your children are so young, and you're forming those memories for them. So, yeah. Erin.
All right, so I want to talk to you about the company that Kim and I have aligned ourselves with, and that company is doTERRA. So I think when you're going into a business, it's really important to find a company that really resonates with you, and that's certainly the case for Kim and I. So doTERRA is a leading essential oil company in the world. They are a wellness company and they specialise in natural health products. So their products are absolutely amazing. I absolutely love them. So doTERRA essential oils are 100% pure. They are beyond organic. there's absolutely no pesticides, herbicides, or anything synthetic in their oils. And doTERRA source their essential oils from their native regions. So that ensures that we have the highest quality essential oils from the plants that we get. So every single batch of doTERRA essential oils is third-party tested for quality. So we know that we're always going to get the best quality essential oils from doTERRA. On top of that, they also have a range of natural health products that you can use for cleaning or your personal hygiene. And I honestly believe that every household in the world needs these products. They're really life-changing. If the products, so the essential oils and the other products that doTERRA sell, are something that you really want to learn more about, I could talk about them for hours and hours. I'm really passionate about them and what they do, but obviously the purpose of tonight's webinar is to share with you more information on the business opportunity and how we've come to where we are. So if there is more that you want to find out about the products, please reach out to either Kim or myself or whoever invited you to this webinar. And we can get you all those resources so you can learn more about them. We can send you samples and show you how to get them into your lives. So doTERRA are focused on wellness and vitality. So when we start to work with doTERRA, we are wellness advocates. So we promote and teach natural self-care. So we work these products into our everyday lives to promote emotional, physical and spiritual well-being. So doTERRA is a really integral company. They're really family focused and they're committed to making a really big difference to the world. One of the ways that doTERRA do that is they actually have their own non-for-profit organisation, which is called the Healing Hands Foundation. So the Healing Hands Foundation work towards empowering communities around the world with tools to become self-reliant and to free themselves from disease and poverty. So one of the ways that they do that is they work with the communities where they source their essential oils from to make sure that they not only look after the farmers, but they really support that whole community. So a lot of the oils are sourced from third world countries and they don't have a lot. So some of the things that the Healing Hands Foundation has done is, for example, they've provided running water for the community where in Haiti, where we source our vetiver from. So where that community previously had to walk for hours to get dirty water for their community, they now have clean running water that's available to them thanks to the Healing Hands Foundation. The Healing Hands Foundation have always also done a lot of other work. So they've worked with building houses in earthquake regions. They've provided schooling for the farmers' children. They've set up educational information for women to do with their monthly cycles and things like that, and given them the resources to help them through those times. So they're really big on getting out there and really supporting the communities that they work with and trying to change the world for the better, not only through the products that they source, but also through these other foundations. So doTERRA also have a lot of really amazing company events. So as Kim touched on earlier, they have the convention. So the Australian convention is in March each year and on the Gold Coast. They also have leadership convention where you can mingle with other leaders within the company and be inspired by them, which is a really great thing to go and do. They also have some incentive trips. So like Kim has spoken about, she qualified for a trip to the US. We've both now qualified for a trip to Fiji, which will be next year in February. really helps us to grow the team and to really get those doTERRA products out there in different communities as well. So there's so many amazing things to do with the company and doTERRA, and why we love working with them.
Thanks, Erin. Okay, so the tribe. So our team is called the Freedom Tribe. That's our team name. So that's a name that we all agreed on some time ago. And we agreed that freedom, I guess, was the ultimate goal. So it all looks different for each of us, I guess, but in some sort of way, our goals were all around freedom. So for some of us, that might have looked like quitting our jobs and having that time freedom, or it could be the financial freedom to be able to get some bills paid off, or send kids to a private school, or travel. We have someone in our team that's actually been able to retire her husband, and Carly and her family, her 3 kids, they're traveling the world at the moment. So world schooling them as they travel around, and they've got their residual income coming through the business that they've built with doTERRA, and they're continuing to educate and share people about the oils as they travel. So there's a lot of mums who have been on maternity leave that didn't want to be able to have to put their children in childcare, so they've been able to stay home with their children and grow their business. We've got working mums that have been able to quit their jobs. We've also got working mums that still love their job, but would like a bit of extra income as well. So it looks different for all of us, but there are a lot of mums in our team. We also have some wellness and life coaches that feel that the essential oils really fit in well with what they're offering their clients. Got a lot of wellness professionals, and then just a lot of passionate wellness entrepreneurs that can see the potential for this business, and are wanting to grow their business with these essential oils. So our team, we're all about sisterhood, freedom, essential oils. So the sisterhood is really the tribe and being there to support each other. So we really do celebrate each other's successes, and whether it's achieving a new rank, or even if it's getting out there doing your first class, or overcoming some fears that people may have. And trust me, we've all got the fears. There's, like, even I still have them doing this webinar right now. But no matter how far we are into our business, we all still come across fears, and we celebrate each other, and we really support each other to overcome those. So every day we're overcoming one of our different fears, and we help inspire each other as well. So when we are stepping out and doing something out of the norm, it helps inspire the rest of our team to do that also. So freedom, as I mentioned, I guess that's the ultimate goal for all of us, to have that financial freedom and that time freedom. And then essential oils. So that's our core business. The essential oils are our core business, and we're all about sharing and teaching the essential oil lifestyle to other people. Okay.
All right, so network marketing, some people are familiar with it, but not everyone. So network marketing or direct selling, they're both the same thing. And basically what it is it's a distribution model where the company has a product and they pay you, the consumer, for spreading the word. So if you find a product that you love, they actually then start to pay you just for telling people about it, which is really incredible. It's actually a really thriving business in today's society, especially with the increase in accessibility to people through social media. It's also a really popular business model with women. We've got a lot of women on our team, but it's actually a fact that 80% of women who are earning 6 figures or more are doing so through direct selling or network marketing. So it's pretty amazing that we are saturating the market like that. So if we talk about traditional business, basically when we're talking about a sales business, we will have a manufacturer who produces a product. Then we have a wholesaler. Then there's a sales rep that will do some advertising. Then there's the retailer who will supply the product and then get it to the customer. So there's a lot of resources that go into selling a product by the time it gets from the wholesaler to the customer. Whereas direct sales, basically there's a manufacturer, which is the company. So in our situation, it's doTERRA. And then there's the entrepreneur. So that's us who then just share our passion for the product and we get paid. So it skips a lot of steps along the way, which is really good. So when we're talking about linear income versus residual income, this is something that my husband and I have spoken about for many, many years. My husband's actually an accountant. So we've always been talking about how to create this residual income. So a linear income is basically what most people do in the traditional business model. So most people, whether you're an employee or if you own your own business, generally you get paid by the hour, and it's really hard to make more money other than by increasing the amount of time that you spend doing that job. So basically you're exchanging your time for money, and you need to work more and more hours to make more money. This is where a lot of people who need that extra income start working 2 or 3 jobs to try and make ends meet. This is quite different to residual income. So residual income is where you work really hard at the beginning, but you continue to reap the rewards for your hard work over time. So a great example of this is a musician. When a musician is writing a song, generally they are not getting paid for it, or they'll be getting paid very little while they're writing the song and they're producing it. But then once they release that song, they will start to get paid for it, and they'll continue to get paid for that song every time someone purchases it. So after that hard work has been done, that person, that singer, is then free and able to go on holidays and spend time doing what they want, but they'll have that residual income continuing to come in. So that's the sort of income that we want to create. It's doing the hard work initially, but continuing to receive the benefits for that hard work for a long time. And that's what we're doing with doTERRA. So like I've said previously, some of the real benefits of doing this is the flexibility to work around your family. So yeah, having that ability to choose your hours that suits you, going at your own pace as well is a really it's a big thing. Some people are only prepared to, they only have a small amount of time, but you can still start your own business and start growing it and putting that hard work now, so that although in the future both Kim and I are so passionate about what we do, I'm sure we'll continue to do it for a long, long time, but you don't have to work as hard. So like Kim was saying, she's got to a point where she could travel around Australia, and although she worked and stayed connected with her team while she was away, she was able to reap the benefits and not have to work as hard while she travelled with her family. So that's pretty amazing. I've just lost the bottom of that screen, Kim, but I think it was talking about traditional business versus what we do, and I've talked quite a lot about that already tonight in all of the advantages that it's done for me, all the things that I love about doTERRA, as well as loving the product. I love the business model and that connection, the flexibility with your time, the ability to make some incredible money. There's so many benefits to being part of this business.
Thanks, Erin. Okay, so the opportunity. So this is the leadership rank. So obviously there's people that join doTERRA and have different goals. Everybody's got different goals when they join, and some people join and just are really passionate about the oils and want to share them with other people, and just hoping to get a little bit of extra income, which is really great, and will support any team member where they're at. But then there's other people who really want to build an empire. They want to build a legacy for their family, and they want to work with a team and start building a tribe of their own. So that's where these leadership ranks come in, and these are from the income disclosures, and they're just averages for each rank. So feel free to have a look at the income disclosures on the doTERRA website for further information, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of a rough idea. And I can see that I have spelt silver wrong there, but that's okay. So silver is the first leadership rank, and that's when you've got 3 teams. So silver I was able to achieve took me about 5 months, and obviously everyone's going to be different in how long it takes them to achieve these ranks. So gold was my goal, to be able to resign from my job. So that was my first big goal that I was going for. And once I did hit that, I was able to resign from my 9-to-5 job. And then platinum, it took me 12 months to reach platinum, and that's me in that picture there with my family. And that's when we're just the day that we're heading off on our trip, so our 5-month trip up the East Coast, and that was not long after I had hit platinum. So that was a really big achievement, and it just made it a lot easier to be able to know that we could leave and still be comfortable paying off our mortgage and still have that income coming in while we're enjoying our holiday. And my husband was quite happy to resign from his position and not have to worry about the financial side of it. So diamond is a rank that I've recently achieved. I think it was around 18 months mark that I achieved diamond. We have in our upline, we have a blue diamond leader, and then our next upline, she's actually double presidential diamond. So she's hit presidential diamond 2 times, which is pretty amazing. So with 2 separate teams. So we have that support available from our team, so our leaders in our Freedom Tribe, but then also our upline leaders from other teams that are there to provide that training and support for us. So no matter which level you're at, there's always that extra support and training available, which is really valuable, and great to see other people's opinions and how they run the business. So yeah, that's just a bit of a snapshot of the potential opportunities, and I guess it comes down to how much you want to put into it. And some people say, how many hours do I have to put in each week? And it's really up to you, but obviously the more you put in, the more you get out of it. So definitely for me, although I was working and studying and had a family, I was able to put in just a few hours each day at night when the kids were in bed, and I was still able to get through those ranks. So I guess it's just how you spend those times and how you make the most of the time that you have available to you is what makes all the difference. So the support available, there's so much support available. So anybody that's thinking about doing the business and thinking, oh, I just don't think I can do it, you don't join the business and then are left to yourself with no support. There's so much support. Usually we have someone in the team come and help you do your first classes. There's one-on-one mentoring. There's a training program that you can go through. There's weekly one-on-one calls, or even more if you need it. Like sometimes I speak to new team members daily. There's weekly team calls. On a Wednesday night, our whole team gets on a call, a Zoom call like this, and we do some training or just chat about things that have come up. We have accountability buddies within the team, so it's there's extra support, not just from the person that you join with, but you also get accountability buddies that are there to support you as well. There's loads and loads of self-development available. So if you have any blocks or doubts, which I'm sure most people would have, I don't think I've ever met anyone that doesn't have any doubts or blocks. There's lots of self-development and training available to help you work through those. Our Freedom Tribe, we're developing a new team website at the moment, which is really exciting, that we're just about to launch. And there's loads of training and events available too. So team trainings, I often do trainings in Melbourne and starting to do a bit of travel to do some team trainings. But there's other leaders, even from other teams, that regularly have trainings, and we can tap into those as well. So doTERRA really is a big family, and it really doesn't matter whose team you're in. There's always somebody there that can support you within your local area. And we have lots of doTERRA run events as well. And we have mentioned the convention, which is in March as well. So there's so much support. You'll never feel like you're left on your own and that you don't know what to do, because there'll always be someone that will be there to support you.
So if this is something that resonates with you, if you've really enjoyed what we've had to say and do you want to have that same experience for yourself, I really recommend that you reach out to the person who invited you onto this call tonight. Speak to Kim or myself or someone else that you know, and let us come and explain the business further with you. Let's see what your needs are and see if this opportunity is something that can help you reach your goals to create the family life that you want. I couldn't recommend it highly enough. I love what I do. I love the support that we're giving. And if I can give that to someone else, it's a really big plus for me. So thanks very much for getting on the call tonight. I really commend you for taking those steps to make your life better, to really help create something positive for you in your life. And I really look forward to hopefully seeing a few of you as part of the Freedom Tribe coming up really soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Erin. It was great chatting with you. I'm just going to see if there's any questions there. I'll stop recording.